ドジャースの大谷翔平選手は、前日の巨人戦に続き、1番指名打者でスタメン出場しました。2打数ノーヒットのまま迎えた5回、一死一塁の場面で代打にフェデューシア選手が送られ、ベンチに退きました。15日の巨人戦では、先発の戸郷投手からライト席中段へ豪快なツーランを放ち、見事な活躍を見せました。一夜明けた本日も、大谷翔平選手の本塁打の話題で持ちきりです。ウィル・スミス捕手は、
驚いたのは翔平が第2打席で打ったことだ。第1打席でホームランを打つと思っていた
とコメント。山本由伸投手も、
正直なところ昨日の朝にホームランを打つ予感がしていた
と語りました。本日の阪神戦でも大谷翔平選手に関する話題は尽きず、試合中にはドジャースのアンドリュー・フリードマン編成本部長が解説席に登場しました。東京シリーズや大谷翔平選手について語り、最大級の賛辞を送っています。その模様を日本語字幕付きでご紹介します。
An exhibition ahead of the Tokyo series. We got a special guest, EK. We're sandwiching the Dodgers president of base operations, Andrew Friedman. Andrew, thanks for being with us. I know you've been to Japan before, but I don't know if you've been to Japan like this with the Dodgers and seemingly everybody in the country supporting the Dodger Blue.
Yeah, it's been unbelievable. When this was announced, your mind starts racing and you're picturing what it could be, and the brain isn't capable of getting it what this is and how special it is. And everywhere we're going around the city, at the ballpark, our workout, how early people are getting here for the games, just the passion that we felt for the game and for the Dodgers has been really special.
But Andrew, I'm curious, in all your visits to Japan, has this country, its love for baseball, its relationship with baseball, its style of baseball, has it influenced you or changed you in any tangible way?
You know, it's funny. I knew how passionate Japanese people were for the game of baseball, but you can't fully appreciate what that means until you experience it. And a couple of years ago, I went out to Miyazaki where Samurai Japan, the WBC team, was coming together, and it was their first workout. Infielders were taking ground balls and fly balls, taking dead-on BT. Pitchers were long tossing and throwing pins, and that was it. And there were probably 20,000 fans for the first workout, and that really connected some dots for me just in terms of just how passionate they are.
What's your level of celebrity? I imagine it's elevated in recent years.
Yeah, what's funny is in LA it's not that much, and nor should it be. But in Korea and Japan, it's been quite elevated. I think with the viewership of the Ohtani press conference alone.
Shoot, if I'm a Japanese owner of a baseball team, I'm running if I see Andrew. I'm like, not this guy again.
Well before any of us were walking this earth, it's an organization that has always hung its hat on being places that nobody else is or was at the time. And that trend is even continuing now for you and your team, part of the baseball ops crew.
Yeah, we do have this organization has such a rich legacy around the world, and reading about and hearing about Walter O'Malley's vision and the way he thought about things and just how unique it was at that time is pretty incredible. EK got to experience Nomomania and just the rich history between the Dodgers and Japan. And that trip I alluded to in Miyazaki, it really struck me how splintered the fandom was. You saw Yankee hats and Dodger hats and Cubs hats and Rangers and just a smattering of different teams. And to know the passion, to know our history here, and for us to end up where we are with these three players and just how much it has turned Dodger blue is really special to see.
I was talking to Joe Davis before the game, and just about all of the Dodger blue that you just referenced. There were fans that had Yomiuri Giants hats, but in blue and white. You think that's iconic Giant colors, black and orange. So to do that, it's just people. Another example, people wanting a piece of the Dodgers these days.
Are you surprised at the level the Ohtani impact has had with the Dodgers. I mean, you knew it was going to be high, but it just seems like it continues to get bigger and bigger.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. We knew it was going to be really high. Even with that, it has far exceeded our expectations. It's one thing to have a sense of it, but to live it up close, and obviously him going 50-50 and us winning a World Series and just all the storybook stuff that played out, I'm sure enhanced that some, but it was even more extreme than we could have possibly.
I mean, who could ever say, right? And it sounds ridiculous to say it, but you got a deal. Like, you got a deal. Like, that was a bargain. I mean,
we're very happy.
That slice down the left field line, it'll tail foul. Andrew, that was a nice answer. It's a very sweet answer talking about Shohei. But can we be honest now? At this point on this trip, given that his face is on every single product, are you sick of it? Are you sick of it?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I've made trips to Japan, and I came back last year, and I was like, Shohei, I didn't even miss you. I saw you everywhere. You know what's funny is I think he is the most talented player who's ever played this game. First.
Fair, yeah.
Second, I think in some weird way, he's underrated. I still think he is underappreciated. And now, last year we didn't get to see the also pitching, but to be that good at those two things.
He can say it now because he's got him signed.
Yeah.
I promise you he wasn't saying this.
No, he's overrated 2 years ago.
Before we signed him, the player is talented. Now.
I think that's the theme of what you're talking about here. It's like whatever expectation you have on him, I guess there is no ceiling. So you want to say, okay, he's going back to the mound this year. That means his offense is going to take a downturn a little bit. But as he showed last year, and the expectation was, all right, he's still rehabbing from his second major surgery, and he goes 50-50. So, your brain's in a blender about what you want to prepare for out of him.
Yeah. I mean, to your point, I think there's just a glass ceiling of what our brains can comprehend. And what we have seen out of him and what he will continue to do, I just think is not appreciated enough.
Mark Pryor is going to come out.
I guess my point is, any year he is doing both, I think he is the surefire MVP. I don't know how anybody can beat him in an MVP race when he's doing both at anywhere close to the levels he's.
I'll tell you what could beat him, and that is the fatigue that you have, that sports fans experience, right?
Right. I just think that's wrong.
I agree with you, but I'm saying that seems like the only thing that could possibly dethrone him is people. Again, putting their brain in a pretzel to be like, all right, well, we've seen this for 6-7 years now. It's really okay. The shine is worn off. We got to give it to this guy for whatever reason. I agree that that's wrong, but that's only.
Well, he continues to set the floor higher and higher and higher. You're just like, well, he's got to hit 40-40. Right. If he doesn't, it was.
What we got, I thought we got a taste of it toward the end of last year. People, and I say this, bring this up with respect to Francisco Lindor, who's an amazing player, who had a phenomenal year carrying the Mets. But I just felt like people were trying to do too much. You know what I mean? Because, Shohei's 50-50, but we just saw Acuna 40-70. Right. It was like, all right, let's.
I can't believe anybody even believed the Lindor thing. I just needed somebody to talk about.
Right, exactly.
Had to kill some airtime somewhere, right?
That's exactly right.
That's the truth.
Andrew, if you get to write down on a piece of paper your hope for Sasaki, and then you get to open it up at the end of the year, what does that look like?
For me, it's just the ability to take the ball each turn, and we'll start to ramp that up a little bit as we get into the season. And just continue to get better. He is a crazy arm talent that still has some player development,
right?
Which is really exciting. And I think the progress we made in a short period of time in spring training is just building that trust. It is so important, and I thought it was going to take more time than it has to this point. And we were willing to play the long game, but I think the rapport he created with our pitching group, with our performance group, was even more advanced and accelerated than I expected. So I think taking the ball and continuing his upward ascent and just getting better and better and taking the feedback from each start continuing to iterate and get better and better is my goal, because I'll bet on what that outcome is.
How is he different than Yamamoto in, you said, just kind of meshing and getting on the same program? And one guy's a little older, obviously, but
yeah, I think the age part. I think Yamamoto has gone through some parts of his career where, you know, he created a real identity of how to train, how to prepare. That I think Roki is just so talented. Yeah. He hadn't gotten to that point yet, and then when he had an oblique injury and delivery got off a little bit, and we've seen this with so many really talented pitchers. It's not as easy to go, okay, I'm just going to go back to that, because it was subconscious. It was just the way their bodies moved. And so now it's about how to repattern that kind of stuff. And, you know, he's still developing what that routine is.
Right.